Welcome to Teabaggers, the podcast where golf meets a whole new level of attitude. I'm Dale Smedley, co-founder of Golf Gods, and I'm here to bring you behind the scenes of the brand, the sport, and the people who make golf more than just a game.
That's right. If you're here for stuffy country club talk, you might be in the wrong place. I'm Sean Trevelyan, mostly referred to as Bear, the co-founder of Golf Gods. And if you love golf and don't take life too seriously, then grab a drink, kick back, and join us for some stories, laughs, and maybe a few hot takes.
In this podcast, we're digging into all things Golf Gods, from the crazy idea that started it all to the wins, the struggles, and everything in between. Trust me, you don't want to miss it.
So whether you're a weekend warrior or just here for the banter, welcome to Teabaggers, where golf is life, but not too serious.
Let's tee it up. Welcome to the first episode of Teabaggers. My name is Dale Smedley. I'm the co-founder of Golf Gods. I'm an average golfer, a husband, a father of two, and even worse a golfer is my co-founder.
G'day, I'm Sean Trevelyan, and they do call Dale the Bandit, so I'm not so sure about that. But like Dale, I'm a husband, I'm a father of two, and I am a bit below average with golf, but the main thing for both of us when we play golf is getting out there and having a bit of fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. Those that know us, certainly that know me, would say I have an opinion on most things and don't mind adding a little bit of mayo on a story or two, which Dale has to put up with a lot. So I look forward to diving in with everyone and trying to keep things factual.
Keeping it factual, mate, that would be good. I definitely don't take life too seriously. I'm never too far from a good time, and that's how I absolutely love to play my golf. We've turned down multiple podcast offers over the years to tell the story. Now we thought it was time to do our own, tell the story behind the brand and how it all got started.
Yeah, definitely time that we dived in, Dale. And in this podcast, we're going to go behind the scenes on a bit of the Golf Gods stuff, business stuff, sports stuff, and all the people that make it happen. So on that note, Dale, why don't you tell everyone how Golf Gods got started?
Absolutely. Well, I reckon it's nearly about 10 years to the day that Golf Gods actually got started. I used to live one street away from the warehouse we're actually in at the moment with our showroom, and I remember vividly on the back deck, my good friend and I were sitting around having a couple beers, and I told him this story that I had this idea of making this Instagram page, and this was 2014 when Instagram only had pictures, there was no videos, there was no reels, there was no story features. It was literally posting photos. And I said to him that day, I said, listen, I've got this idea. I'm going to start this golf page and I'm going to post all these silly things, the golf antics, the golf trick shots, all your non-generic golf stuff, which was back then was just typical PGA European Tour type of content. And I said to him that day, I'm going to do it. And the first thing he said to me was, you should get Sean in to do that as well because he loves Facebook. So one thing led to another. That night, after a few more beers, I started the Instagram page. I started posting. And at that time, Sean, you were actually in London, weren't you?
I was. Due to time difference, we would sort of connect on WhatsApp at sort of after work would be your morning and vice versa. So there wasn't a lot of good conversation to keep up to date with. But I certainly kept in touch with everyone and was doing the London grind for that little period. Yep.
So From what I remember, I think we got to about 2,000 followers on Instagram. Sean came back from London. I think it was a New Year's Eve in 2014, wasn't it?
Yep.
We were playing a golf round and I said to him, hey, I've got an idea for you. I've got to speak to you privately later. And one thing led to another. I think 3 a.m. in the morning or something?
It was
like that?
a 3 a.m. business pitch of this Instagram idea that you had. And I didn't really like Instagram. You'd actually taught me how to use it before I'd gone to London, but it wasn't my natural usage of social media. I didn't play much golf and hadn't for years, but I said, look, let's get lunch the next day because I'm 100% in on this idea.
So that was probably the greatest move of not, shaking hands and doing a deal at 3 a.m. in the morning. So I think we later caught up. We didn't tell anyone, and I think that was a really key defining moment of when we started this page. We didn't tell our family, we didn't tell our friends. We wanted people to follow the page for them actually to enjoy the content. And I think we probably got to, I think I told my wife around 10,000. I think she was the first to know.
You were with your wife, I was single, and so we didn't tell anyone, and then we knew we had to tell her at some point because I was around your house every night talking about this and she wanted what we were doing. So it was 10,000 we told her.
Yep.
We'd always spoken about trying to import from overseas.
We were talking about blogging. It was
Yep.
even before really e-commerce had really taken
It
off.
was eBay, wasn't it?
It was eBay
We
by
shopped on
that
eBay
time, yeah.
back then. It was like, how can we sell some stuff on eBay? For years we thought about it. But then, the golf thing come about.
That's right. And I had a construction glazing company where we were doing glass pool fencing and things like that. And we thought, why can't we import some glass and stainless steel products? And the risk and the cost in bringing over a container of glass is just astronomical and probably not for the first thing to jump into. So I think after a little while, we bought 10 hats. They were probably the shittest 10 hats people have ever seen.
I think 5 were good. I think the black ones were solid. The white ones were pretty average. But it got us started and got us on the way.
So in 2014, the golf culture was very much your 5 main brands, your Titleist, your TaylorMades, your Callaway, your PGA Tour and things like that. And we saw that gap in the market for the person that doesn't take golf too seriously. And we quickly worked out, Sean, I think we worked out 80% of the golf market actually didn't take it too seriously, didn't always score, didn't have lessons, didn't worry about a handicap. And what we sort of put ourselves in that 80% group, and we sort of figured that if we can supply some fun, something different to the market, and sort of revolutionise golf a little bit. I think that was our entry into breaking into the golf world.
Yep.
What is your memory about that time around?
Yeah, well, definitely because we didn't take it super serious. So everything in the industry was so serious, and we had multiple occasions of going to a course and members getting annoyed at us and getting yelled at for wearing a hat somewhere you're not supposed to, and we just felt like, gosh, this isn't us.
Nah.
This isn't our friends. This isn't that 80%. A lot of people actually just want to enjoy themselves. So we really just tried to position ourselves as someone that could appeal to that market that just want to have fun and enjoy it. And for us, it was more important to be out there with your mates than it was important to worry about what the second cut of the grass was done or when the greens were caught or whatever.
And that ended up being the basis of our brand.
Yep.
One of our key values at Golf Gods is fun.
Yep.
The other one was affordability. We all understand that some golf products can be ridiculously priced and well overpriced.
Yep.
So we wanted to position ourselves in the market that made it affordable. And
like when I come back from London, I didn't have a collared shirt. You sort of get rid of a lot of stuff when you travel and you don't take everything back. And I had to buy one for that round of golf we had. And it was just ridiculous, the price of a golf polo. It's like, God, I'm only wearing this every so often. And it's more expensive than any other shirt I own.
Yeah. So there's definitely that gap in the market back then open for someone else to come in, see golf in a different life and sort of have any sort of opportunity to bring out golf products. And with that revolution of online shopping and e-commerce around that time, Instagram went from a photographer's sort of platform where you post photos to I think it went to 15-second videos first, and then it changed its dimensions, and now it's just basically this gigantic shopping platform and e-commerce sort of driving sort of platform and a content creator thing.
Yep.
So obviously changed a lot since we got started. One of the defining moments when we remember, Sean, do you remember the time where we thought we were going to quit our job? I know you were digging holes as a plumber there.
Yeah, I was pretty much sick of it as well. And we were at that point where we needed to put a bit more time into it. And the money wasn't quite there. So, and I mean, you've always been really good with the budget, but you were, you had a figure in mind. And so when we hit this point, that's when we're quitting our jobs. So what was that point?
Yeah, I think my biggest month was 50,000, and now that's probably not a huge amount of money, but what I realised that if we could make $50,000 a month, that would allow at least one of us to go full time. And with the luxury of my glazing business, we could actually work together. We would get up in the morning, we'd go and install a pool fence or something. We'd come back around 1 or 2 o'clock. We'd pack orders all afternoon, and we might throw some footage up there of back in my old office.
Yeah.
I think we had probably 30 square metres, maybe a bit more than that. And there's definitely photos around of the whole thing being completely chockers, full of boxes and orders and products and things like that. So that was definitely the moment. I think when we got to 50,000, you quit your job. We still had that backup role of my sort of work, but that quickly didn't last long. You would have worked only a couple months.
Yeah, I think it was probably 3 months over the summer period. I had quit my job. My wife now, but girlfriend at the time, was 3 months pregnant, and so it probably wasn't the ideal time in an ideal world to quit a full-time job. I lost my company car, which I no longer had a car. I used to ride my bike to your office.
That's right.
Then I got sick of that because it wasn't a very good bike. So I'd ride halfway and then jump on the train for halfway to make it a little bit easier on me.
Yeah.
But it was definitely the right time for the business to devote that time and effort. And like you said, it was only probably 3 months of working in your other business that you shut that down completely, and we both went full time and got our first warehouse.
We got our first warehouse. We never really looked back. I know that's probably, for people that have never been in this situation, it's like a really big jump to stop your full-time role, especially to tell your wife and that sort of stuff, hey, I'm going to quit my full-time job. I'm not sure if I've got a wage coming in, but let's see if it can happen. And that risk and that jump, like, that's what you've got to take in life, and I think that's the key to it. Is really
one thing that was good for us is we both had very supportive wives. Like they backed us in and believed in what our vision was, and said, "If you guys think it's right, dive in and have a crack." And it can be hard if you're in a situation where you don't have support. That can make that really difficult. But we were quite fortunate in that respect.
Yeah. So, yeah, definitely starting from humble beginnings, I guess. And that's sort of the story on how it got started. I know it's probably not the grandest story, but it is a fairly common story I would hear in the e-commerce and startup business.
It was very organic. You know, we didn't rush. We never raised heaps of money. We just started small and we chipped away, and we let it grow organically, and we wanted to make sure the market wanted it rather than trying to force it on the market. And that's how we...
And that was the great thing about basing it off Instagram, I guess. There was no sort of postcodes, was there?
No.
There was, if someone did buy an order, and I think our first order, within the first 5, we had one in Canada, one in the US, and one in Australia, at least within the first 5. So straight off the bat, we had orders going all around the world. That obviously has its own challenges, especially when you're tradespeople. You're not in logistics, you're not in warehousing, you're not in manufacturing.
No.
So, there's obviously a lot of challenges around that time and things like that. And there's some multiple stories we're going to touch on a little bit later, I guess, on all the troubles and all the stressful times we had of trying to make some products out of China where we've never been.
Well, look, that's probably a good time to wrap up and talk about what we've got coming, Dale. So tell us what's on the next episode.
Yeah, we're going to talk about all things in terms of sourcing products out of China. We're going to talk about websites. We're going to talk about how we actually worked out how we were going to ship from Australia to America to the customer, which we actually sold the goods and we didn't actually really know how to do that. So that was a mission in itself. And then I think we can talk about all the struggles of, customer service, issues with products. Was your product actually going to arrive from the manufacturer? All that sort of stuff, and get into the nitty-gritty of how we actually went from having no products at all to multiple products to get started, and the risk we took with how much money we put in there.
Look forward to it. Well, it's been fun to recap on everything we've done at the start, Dale, and episode 1 is in the books, so tune in for episode 2 and we'll tell you more about how we did it.
That's it. Tee it up, boys.
Go the Teabaggers.